All right, guys. Hi. For those who don't know who I am, I'm Destiny D from WTLR Radio, and I am live on YouTube. And this is in reference to the voting process that we just endured the other day. Okay, I wanted to let it be known because we have a situation. Most of the people who voted the other day had no clue that their vote didn't count. And the reason why is because um we were told after the vote was complete that in order for our vote to have been a valid vote, we would have had to turn the ballot over and put our signature on it. No one from the poll ever told us that we had to actually sign our ballot. I found out a little bit after that if you did sign it and your actual signature did not match what was on your ID card, that was not valid. I also learned that if you did early voting or you did an absentee ballot, those votes did not count. So I wanted to let it be known because I feel like it's necessary that the people who did vote, who thought their vote counted, know that that's why all of those races were so close. Like, because I know that there's at least 5 million votes for the Democrat Party. At least. So I'm like, how could the votes be that close? It couldn't have been unless a lot of the votes were not validated to the point to where the vote counted. So just to recap, if you did early voting, if you did absentee ballots, and if you went to the voter place, the poll, and you did not sign the back, the vote did not count. If you did sign it and your ID did not match the signature, it did not count. If you show proof of your visual person with your ID and your physical address did not match the registration address, it didn't count. So if you had a PO box or anything on your ID, but you lived somewhere else and you went to vote and they allowed you to vote, and if you did not have the same thing on your ID, your vote did not count. I think that's crazy that they would allow you to come into a poll. They don't tell you that you have to sign the back, but then when you sign the back, it's got to match your ID. They turned a whole lot of people away before the actual voting process, saying that if you went to go vote and you didn't have an ID from the DMV, like let's say you had a school ID or military ID, that they wouldn't accept it. But somehow or another, whatever the legislation that they had brought before, I guess the court said no, you can bring whatever ID, physical ID that you have and still vote. So a lot of people didn't show up because they thought that they didn't have the right ID. This voting suppression thing is like so crazy, and I feel that it's not right for those who tried to vote, especially those that were elderly. Now I have word that there was a bus that was stocked full of senior citizens who wanted to go do the early voting. Now 50 of them were put on a bus by some kind of voter registration party. Like they had a location that the seniors could come to, and then they could all get on the bus and then ride to the poll to actually place their ballot. I found out that the government caught wind of them getting on the bus and met the bus and made the elderly get off the bus so that they could not go vote. This makes no sense. How can we make change? How can this be a land of the people, by the people, and for the people if the people can't vote, or if the people that do vote don't get counted, or if you in a certain area and they don't give all of the instruction, or if they give some kind of bogus reason as to why the vote didn't count, and then you're looking at the polls and you're looking at who's winning, how can you make change? You can't. And I don't feel that that's fair. Well, truth be told, it's never been fair. This whole government thing was set up by people who stole, who robbed and pillaged, who killed and murdered. So how can we expect to have something valid and something real and something wholesome when the people who running it ain't? We got a president who green lights grabbing women by their private parts. He firing people every day for the last 19 months. Do we even have anybody left? Like, I said in the beginning that, this presidency was only going to be a rendition of The Apprentice. It was just the White House edition because he fired people every day almost. And there's nobody that really wants to work with him. And then the ones who are in trouble with the FBI, the ones who are in trouble, and reaching all kinds of decisions on whether or not if he want to have them fired, he's mad because they're bucking against him. So is it treason? No, not if he's wrong. I wouldn't want to accept that kind of responsibility, especially if he's wrong. And that press secretary that he got make me sick. I can't do it. But I just wanted to let you guys know all of the information that I provided is valid. If you did not sign the back of your ballot, if your signature did not match your ID, it didn't count. If you did early voting, if you did any kind of absentee ballot, it didn't count. So now you know why all the votes were so close. Now you know why they had to recount in 4 other places. They didn't accept our vote because they knew we were voting Democrat. We wanted it in the House and the Senate, but they weren't gonna let that happen. So y'all can take it and run with it. But as I said before, this is your girl Destiny D from WTLR Radio, and I think it's the worst thing ever. We try to vote and we try to make a change, and it's like the votes and everything that we tried to put in did not even count. And then now I see why a lot of the other people are like, it's never meant for us. Voting has never been meant for our people. It's never benefited us in any kind of way because the whole system is corrupt. Like, how do we make a change? How do we get better people in if they don't have no intentions of doing better or having better people? If they have every intention of putting whoever they want in place. And then you got those who feel like, why should I even try? But at the end of the day, we have to continue to fight. We have to continue to put our face out there. We got to continue to do things differently. Like, I had a conversation with someone not too long ago, and they were saying, you have to look at different aspects of how we do things. If the government don't want us to have no attachment to it, if the government don't want to do nothing in our benefit, then we have to separate ourselves. That's the differential between church and state. If we was to get all of the churches together and do our things without using the government, make the black dollar our own dollar, we would be better off separated from the government, and we wouldn't have as many problems. Y'all marinate on that. And if you have any feedback, positive, negative, I don't care, give it to me. Go in the comments below. Look at some of the other episodes that we have on here and let me know what you think. I'm all ears.